And we are live from the heartland, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the heartland of America, speaking from my heart, hopefully right into yours. Welcome to the Christian Whistleblower channel, also the home of the Unindoctrinator podcast. I had just finished listening to our president give a tremendous update, and we went through a lot of it in the chat room. I won't go over it again, but it's pretty amazing what the president is able to do. And it's just so good to have calmness and rationale reigning across the land. And we hope that it will reign in the chat room. We're sure that it will, but we hope that it will be voluntary. If you know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages. I want to talk to you today about something I've been working up towards, something that we really need to do, something that is individual and collective, something that can take times such as these and make them times that we recognize as times where we changed and where we grew and where we became better. And because it's been suggested in the chat room, we will make this portion of Podcast Excellence brought to you by C60purplepower.com. Not only is it youth in a bottle, it's also a great antioxidant. And if you're taking this, you do not have to worry about this or any other virus. It'll get your immune system locked and loaded. Folks, let's take a look at this subject. And this is kind of a high-sounding subject. And a lot of you won't understand it because we live in the Jerry Springer, Burger King, have it your way generation. But it hasn't been so long. We just had to work, ladies and gentlemen, and work hard for everything that we got. And life wasn't just, as my uncle used to say, a cherubolies. He meant a bowl of cherries. But these are times that try men's souls. These are the times that try men's souls. And this is a call from me to you, and really from us to those of you that are guests and are not part of this family yet. A call for return to common sense and enlightenment. Those of you that are well-read will see several catchphrases there. And it wasn't too long ago that I made an appeal that we all consider our gods of old. Go back to your ancestral gods, think of who they are, think of who they were, maybe decide whether you want to learn about them, make contact with them, talk about them. And I did make that appeal some time ago, probably close to a year ago now. And I was suggesting that maybe we have lost something in losing touch with our gods of old. We're not all from the United States of America. A lot of us historically come from Ireland. We come from all parts of Europe. We come from Africa. We come from the Pacific Islands. We come from the Far East. We come from North and South America. We come from all over the place. And all of those places have ancestral gods. And I was suggesting that maybe we've lost something in losing touch with those gods. And we have lost touch. But perhaps I was making a mistake that wasn't really a mistake. Perhaps I encouraged a reaching that was a bit too far back. And perhaps a reaching that wasn't entirely in the right direction. Not that any of that would have hurt us. And by the way, folks, it is Tracy Dyer's birthday today. And we must stop everything right now. And I can't really sing this song, but we're going to sing it anyway. Tracy Dyer's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Tracy Dyer. Happy birthday to you. Please don't kick me out of the chat room. Tracy says that she's not sure that ancestral gods really apply. We aren't those bodies, or we aren't these bodies. And that's a good point. So while we have lost touch, again, maybe I went a little too far back. Maybe I went in not the exact right direction, because we do have gods. We have gods that are nearer. We have gods that are closer. And we have gods that await our touch and await us to reach out to them, ladies and gentlemen. And these are gods that we have in common. No matter where we're from, we're here. And we're part of this great place called America, this great experiment. And if you don't think it's great, well, then excuse me, you don't have to stay. We have planes leaving every day. And as you may have heard the president announce, there's no restrictions on you leaving your ass from here if you don't like it. Please go ahead, pack your shit and go if it's not to your specifications. But we're all here and we're all in this together. Maybe we don't need to go so far back after all for gods worthy of our attention. And this is a picture of the I can't remember, it escapes me right now, the Parthenon, where all of the gods are worshipped. So that's why it was especially appropriate. The Oculus, they'd look out and imagine their god coming down. Nice to see Jenny Constantine. Okay, so folks, our gods of old. My idea was to reestablish a relationship so we could call upon the old gods, the flawed, failed, and fake deity that's currently running this realm is doing such a shitty job. And I do agree with Jenny in part that we do benefit from reaching out and contacting our old gods. But again, maybe there's someone closer. And I would say, who are they? And I would say, who are we? We need to discover, folks, our divinity, our sovereignty, and our freedom within ourselves. And instead of being so focused perhaps on making a relationship with the old gods so that they will help us, what if we got back in touch with our own divinity, sovereignty, and freedom, and they could come ask us for help? Now, there's a concept for you right there. Want to be empowered? Want to be divine? Want to be sovereign? Want to be free? Get yourself to the place where the gods of old would love to have you on their side. So it's a two-way street. But the point I make is to get us to this place where we can talk about people like Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine was a political activist. Even though I spelled it wrong, I was in a hurry doing this. He was a philosopher. He was a revolutionary. And his ideas reflected the ideas of the Enlightenment, which we'll talk about, and its ideals of transnational human rights. The people that wrote the Declaration of Independence said that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, not just all Americans, but all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these, the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And these are transnational human rights. I'm studying a lot now on natural law, and we're going to start talking more about natural law. And this is where natural law is born. These are the seeds of natural law. And just in case you wasn't a fun guy, just in case you think he wasn't a fun guy, Thomas Paine was also a corset maker. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Just when you thought he was another boring nerd. Not so, ladies and gentlemen. Not so. And he came to America specifically to participate in the revolution. That tells you a lot about a guy. He's over in jolly old England, right? Living the high life. Everything's great. He finds out that we're going to rebel against England. And instead of just sitting there where it's safe, he says, I want to go. That's pretty amazing. But that's the kind of guy he was, because he wanted to be a naval officer when he was 16 years old. Not only did he try to sign onto a ship called the Terrible, you can't make this stuff up. He tried to sign onto a ship called the Terrible, which was helmed by a guy named Captain Death. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm going to get on a ship, I'd prefer it didn't be called, that it wasn't called the Terrible. And I'd prefer that it wasn't being captained by a guy named Captain Death. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon how you look at it, and no word on what happened to the Terrible captain by Captain Death, but his dad said, no, you're not going to do that. But at 19, he did sign on to the privateer ship. And folks, you know what a privateer is? A privateer is a pirate. And this is my kind of guy. He's a pirate at heart. He runs to join a revolution. He joined the private privateer pirate ship King of Prussia and served for a year during the 7 Years' War. 1768, he began working as an excise officer. That's a tax kind of thing in England. And then within 4 years, he'd written his pamphlet, printed 4,000 of them, and handed them out to the members of British Parliament because his fellow excise officers weren't being treated right. This is my kind of guy. This is a guy that sees a problem, doesn't say, This is a guy that sees a problem, doesn't say, oh, it's always been that way. This is a guy that sees a problem and says, this thing's busted. Let's fix it. I like those kind of guys. I like to think I am that kind of guy. Jeff, why are you such a contrarian? I'll bet you Thomas Paine had people saying to him, why are you a contrarian, Thomas? Why can't you just go along? Why can't you just get along? Why can't you just take it easy? Why can't you just hush and let everything go? Because that's not what you do when the dominant paradigm is taking people down the wrong path. That's not what you do when the dominant paradigm is leading people over the cliff. That's not what you do if you have any integrity. That's not what you do if you have any desire of anything other than money, clicks, and subscribers. That's not what you do. You stand up and say, this is bullshit. And I don't care if I'm the only one that says it's bullshit. Everybody that can hear me is going to know it's bullshit. And that's the kind of guy that Thomas Paine was. And then in 1774, he met Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin says, we need you. Come on over. Brother gets on a boat, sails to America, almost dies of scurvy on the way. Wow. And then he immediately started writing for the Philadelphia Magazine upon his arrival in the United States after he recovered from scurvy, which isn't fun. And the first thing he wrote was called Common Sense. And it was the match that lit the fuse of the American Revolution. It was published in 1774. And think of this. It was published in 1774. And it remains the best-selling American work of all time. Who would have believed that the book Common Sense, the thing Common Sense, would be the best-selling book ever in the history of America, from the beginning of America, and it's still in print today, ladies and gentlemen. And Thomas Paine argued that representational government is superior to monarchy, and it's superior to other forms of government that are based on aristocracy and are based on heredity. Just because you're part of a family doesn't mean you should be in charge. Radical idea in 1776, but think about today. Oh, we would never fall for that, really. How many presidents named Bush have we had? How many people running the show named Clinton have we had? Bernie's been there 40 freaking years. It's an aristocracy that just doesn't call itself that. And Thomas Paine argued that the American colonies needed to break with England in order to survive, and that there would never be a better moment for that to happen. And folks, as we stand here today, these are the times that try men's souls. These are the times that try women's souls. And today, folks, as we sit here, much like Thomas Paine and his cohorts back in 1774, we stand here in 2020, and we must break with the deep state United States of America as it stands. We must break with the dominant political paradigm as it stands, and must insist upon a return to Jeffersonian Paine representational democracy or less. And we must do it to survive, and there's never been a better time for that to happen than right now. You're going to see me become much more active in sovereignty movements, and that doesn't mean I'm going to start buying cannons and doing stupid stuff like that. That means I'm going to start working very closely with our county sheriffs and remind those county sheriffs that they hold the key to taking back national sovereignty. And we're going to hold rallies, and we're going to hold parades, and we're going to hold feet to the fire, and we're going to hold hands in the air, and we're going to roll up our sleeves and go to work, just like they did back in 1774. We're going to return to federalism. Really, we're going to return to as close to as local rights as we can. States' rights, county rights. The Confederacy still runs strong in my blood, ladies and gentlemen. And in the words of that Mel Gibson character, why trade a tyrant 2,000 miles away for one 200 miles away? We're not going to do that either. So, John Adams, second president of the United States, said that without the pen of the sword, without the pen of common sense, which was Thomas Paine, the sword of Washington would have been raised in vain. And that rhymes. I didn't recognize that the first time. John Adams, without the pen of the author of Common Sense, oh, he didn't say Paine, who was Paine, the sword of Washington would have been raised in vain. So I can take credit for that poetry. Thank you very much. I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. Now, Brandon, I appreciate your entrance into the chat room. I see balkanization, federalism happening. Balkanization is usually taken as a derisive term, but it's exactly what we need. We need to take away the power from Washington, D.C., and take it back as close as we can locally. And I'm telling you, President Donald Trump is doing that. And I would give a rebel yell, Flat Albert, but it might scare people. So, Common Sense is the book he wrote. It was a pamphlet, really. And Paine connected independence with common dissenting Protestant beliefs against authority. Do you know that this nation was built by men and women that just wanted to be left alone? And now it's populated by men and women that are sucking at the teat of government and saying, where's my next handout? Times have to change, and we have to take responsibility. Elvis Presley sang a song in one of his movies about Uncle Sam, and all I can remember was, he's your uncle, not your dad. The government's not supposed to be paying for your shit. You are. It's time to take responsibility. And Thomas Paine wrote this: men and women, of course, who look upon themselves born to reign and others born to obey, soon grow insolent, selected from the rest of mankind. Their minds are easily poisoned by importance, and the world they act in differs so materially from the world at large that they have but little opportunity of knowing its true interests. And when they succeed to the government, they are frequently the most ignorant and unfit of any throughout the dominions. He's describing the U.S. Congress. He's describing the House of Representatives, the Senate. He's describing, to a great degree, the Supreme Court. And up until 2016, he was describing the Oval Office. Do you know how long it's been since we had a president who had a job that wasn't government related and wasn't given to him by his daddy? A long, long time. If they would make me president, the first thing I would do is sign a bill limiting all elected offices to 8 years, period. And there would be some really nice, like on-base housing from the military constructed in Washington, D.C. And those senators and those Congress people would live in that on-base housing. They'd have a nice apartment. That would change things, folks, right there. That would change things. Society is produced by our wants, and government by wickedness. The former, our wants, promotes our happiness positively by uniting our affections. When we want something, we'll work together and get it. The latter, government, negatively creates wickedness by restraining our vices, by not letting us work for ourselves, and by turning us into teat suckers on welfare, on food stamps, on EFT, on Medicare, on all of this. It shouldn't be, ladies and gentlemen. It shouldn't be. I'm talking about a return to common sense. More common sense. For myself, Paine said, and of course, we're going to have some tweaking that we'll do on these. I fully and conscientiously believe that it is the will of the Almighty. I would say it is the will of the divine. I agree with that. That there should be diversity of spiritual opinions amongst us. And there's a lot of people within our genre that got a lot of problems with that. And they've got a lot of problems with me specifically. I don't know. I didn't get the memo that if you're going to do a show with someone that you've got to believe 100% what they believe. I guess I missed that memo. And I guess the memo that says that if you do disagree, you disagree respectfully and courteously. I guess I missed that memo too. We should have a diversity of spiritual opinion among us. It affords a larger field for our spiritual kindness. We should be able to have people that believe in flat earth and people that believe in round earth be together in fellowship around the desire of spirituality. We should be able to have people that believe that ETs are real and they're fake as shit gathered together. We should be able to have people that believe in NASA and believe that NASA is a lie. We should have people that believe in making men and women better spiritually, people that want to make Americans great again, and all the rest of y'all too. But we can't do that. As soon as one decides this and one decides that, then no more shall the two meet. We are all of one way of were we all of one way of thinking, our spiritual dispositions would want matter for probation. And on this liberal principle, I look on the various denominations among us to be like children of the same family, differing only in what is called their various names. Let's get together and work together towards a common goal of getting everybody to think for themselves. I think that would be great. And these are the times that try men's souls. And that is something that we should try in these times. And then he also wrote, Paine did, a pamphlet called The American Crisis. Oh, I got to see this one. Crystal says, make housing affordable for one income household or pay a living wage. I hate to say it, but Tracy's right. Get the skills necessary to earn a living wage. Where do we get the idea that the government's supposed to give us a wage? Where do we get the idea that the government's supposed to support us? Where did that idea come from? Do you realize the government doesn't make things? The government doesn't produce anything. They don't have any money. The money they have for you, they give to you, they took from me. It's not supposed to be that way. If you want a better wage, if you want a raise, improve your skills. Improve your skills and you'll pay your bills. Get better and you'll have more cheddar. And it was the American Crisis, the first line of which said, these are the times which try men's souls. And it does. It's hard and it hurts to say, this guy's telling me that it's up to me to get a better job, not up to Bernie to give me one. That hurts. But it's true. And you need somebody that cares enough for you as a person to look you in the eye and say, if you want to pay the bills, then improve your skills and stop having cable and stop having an iPhone and stop having all these extras that you don't need. Do you smoke? Do you toke? I'm just asking. Paine brought together 13 diverse colonies and encouraged them to stay motivated through the harsh conditions of the winter of 1776. It was said that George Washington's troops were ready to quit until Washington ordered them to be read aloud Paine's book, The American Crisis. And once they heard the first sentence, "These are the times that try men's souls," the pamphlet read aloud to the Continental Army on December 23rd, 1776, 3 days before the Battle of Trenton, attempted to bolster morale and resistance among patriots, as well as shame neutrals and loyalists to support the cause. Because, see, that's what I do, and that's what people don't get about me. And I don't care that you don't get it, because when you get it, you will get it. But see, people just want me to bolster morale. People just want me to get the patriots all excited. That's part of the job. There's some people that are ready to work, and you got to get them fired up. There's some people that are ready to rock and roll, and you give them some sticks, and you get them hip, hip, parade. But there's some people who are neutral. There's some people that don't care about the cause, and all you can do is shame them. You can sit on the sidelines and watch while we get something done. If you're not a big dog, stay on the porch. If you want to pay your bills, improve your skills, that's shaming neutrals and loyalists. You know what shaming loyalists is? That's when I call Christians special and I call Christians stupid, because they can read the same stuff that I read that shows that they're worshiping a failed, flawed, phony God. Am I doing it just to make them mad? No, I'm doing it to shame them, so they will snap out of the Stockholm syndrome and snap out of the fear and guilt blood magic control matrix. Some people I cheer on. Some people I rouse. Some people I shame. And most of you that tell me I'm doing it the wrong way, from the looks of your subscribers, one of us is doing it the wrong way, but I don't think it's me. And besides, this is the only way I know to do it. And this is the way we do it here. And this is the way great movements are made. I don't care about building the biggest YouTube channel. I don't care about having the most subscribers. One day we will, but I don't care. I don't care about having the most views. Well, I do care about the views. That means more people are watching it. What I care about is starting a movement of people that realize that these are the times that try men's souls and reach for something better and reach for something higher. That's what I'm here for. That's the business I'm in. Like Brad Pitt said in that movie, I can't remember the name of it. We here for one thing: to kill Nazis. We're in the Nazi killing business, and cousin, that business is a booming. We're here for one thing: to unindoctrinate bitches, and the unindoctrinating business, that is a booming. That's all we're here for. I know I've run more people out of this channel. I've probably run as many people out of this channel as we have in this channel now. And if I'd have just been a nicer guy, we'd have 100,000 already. Happy birthday to Amelia. Happy birthday to you. Come back again. We'll give you a full song. Why do you do it this way, Jeff? Because tyranny is not easily conquered, and we are under tyranny. The fear and guilt, blood magic control matrix is tyranny. These liars on YouTube are tyranny. These Christians that say they aren't on YouTube, pulling the wool over your eyes, are tyranny. And I am here to fight tyranny in all its sectors, in all its flavors, and I don't care if it pisses you off or not. Because sometimes the only way to get somebody to move is to piss on them. And I'm willing to do that. Tyranny is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation that with us, the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Somehow we've got it in our mind that we were going to ascend and make it, and everything was going to be great, and that it wasn't going to cost us a dime, and it was going to be rather easy. Somehow we got that idea somewhere along the way. If you got that idea along the way, you're wrong. It's not that way. But you can never go wrong with Mystech. Mystech is going to get you back in contact with the Schumann resonance of planet Earth. Mystech is going to get your cells back in harmony. It's going to rid your blood of pathogens. It's going to cause your blood to flow freer and more healthily and help you to not contact any viruses. It's going to strengthen your immune system. And I got blood tests to prove it. I got Kirlian photography to prove it. I got EMF to prove it right here on this website. Don't flap your gums, move your fingers, watch the videos, then comment, or don't. I don't care, but you can get 20% off if you go to jeffreydaugherty.com and click on the Mystech logo or tab. Suggestions that the British are trying to assume powers that only God should have. Paine saw the British political and military maneuvers in the colonies as impious, for so unlimited power can only belong to God. Does that remind you of anything? No one should be able to take a person's person or property without the consent of that person. And yet every day we all are about to get bent over the barrel come April 15th. That is not right. They are usurping a divine right, and it needs to be stopped. Government is usurping powers that belong only to God. They were doing it then, and they're still doing it now. And if there is a divinity, and I think there is, in fact, I think there's more than one, and I think that every one of them will support our case. Every one of them will be on our side. For true divinity will not give up a people to military destruction. True divinity won't give people or leave them unsupported to perish, who have so earnestly and so repeatedly sought to avoid the calamities of hot war by every decent method which wisdom could invent. If we do all we can do, then our gods will be with us and our divinity will carry us through. See, that's the thing. The old saying is, God helps those that help themselves. But what we don't understand is what that really means. Let me look at you. God helps those that help themselves. Makes you think there's a God out there that's going to help you when you decide to help yourself. No, you know what happens? When you start doing something instead of crying, wah, wah, wah. When you start doing something instead of bitching, well, this and that, and I'm a white man in a black man's world. I'm a woman in a man's world. I'm a poor person in a rich person's world. Stop whining, stop crying, start making excuses for yourself. And if you want to get better wages, get better skills, you just start taking some classes. You get another job. You cut off the cable. You quit drinking Coke. You quit smoking Coke. I don't know if you can smoke Coke, but you know what I mean. You cut some corners and you increase some more income. You find out what your great basic purpose is. You start doing it on the side and make a little income. And then all of a sudden you find out that you're doing better and better and better and better and better. And, oh, I thought God was going to help me. God did, because you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. You need to get off your ass and help your own self, because you're the God, you're the goddess. God helps those that help themselves, because when you help yourself, you're a God and your divinity gets in motion, cousin. It's not because that God or this goddess comes and helps you. And they might. And that'd be nice, but you don't need them. Ain't never been a God that buttered my toast. Ain't never been a God put gas in my car. Ain't never been a God put $1 in my wallet. I ain't never had no God give me one of these. Never. Didn't come from a God. Came from this God working his ass off. And that's unusual that I have one of those laying around, but just happened to. Just happened to. And I'll say it out loud. I got this right here because a lot of you are having a better life, because this right here came from Ken, the CEO of C60 Purple Power. Yeah, they break a little off from me when you get better. That's called a exchange in abundance. You get some C60 at a really, really great price. You get to feel better, and I get some money to keep doing more of this. And we all feel better. We all feel better. What was I going to tell you guys? I forgot it. Oh no, that was the thing about when God helps those that help themselves, because we are gods. And we start helping ourselves, we realize, oh, I'm a God. I'm divine. I'm sovereign. I'm free. And it's these thoughts that echo the beginnings of the formation of natural law. There's people on YouTube saying, we need to go to learn the wisdom of the East so we can fix ourselves. We need to learn the wisdom of the Essenes, which probably never existed. And if they did, they were child molesters. We need to learn from the Gnostics, which probably didn't exist. And if they did, they were child molesters. No. We need to learn from us right here, right now. If you want to go back to the men and women that created this great experiment called the United States. Not the way it is now, but the way it was then, and the way it can be again. The way it can be again. Let's talk a little bit about the Enlightenment. Doesn't mean what you think it means. The Enlightenment, also known as the Age of Reason, was an intellectual and philosophical movement that dominated the ideas of Europe during the 17th and to the 19th centuries, right around the time of the American Revolution, for those of you that think the Bible's the Word of God. Because implication is that you're silly, so I had to explain things to you because you can't figure out simple stuff. The Enlightenment emerged out of intellectual and scholarly movement known as Renaissance humanism. And what that is when people sought to create citizens that were able to speak, read, and write with such eloquence and such clarity that they'd be capable of engaging in the civic life of their communities and persuading others to virtuous and prudent actions. This is what I'm talking about when you read and you study and you understand the power of your local county sheriff. And you go to your local county sheriff and you try to share with them this information and ask them to get on board with it, and they say no, then you go find somebody else to run for county sheriff that'll say yes. Or you work with their opponent in the upcoming election. I don't think you can ask 2 or 3, Emperor Rex. I hope I didn't pull this out of context, and if I did, I'm sorry. But are you really stupid enough to think that what you're told was the Dark Ages was the Dark Ages? I've showed you the Dark Ages were the age of enlightenment. And those that want to keep us down want us to think it was the Dark Ages when it was really the age of enlightenment. Come on, cousin, you're better than that. I hope I pulled that out of context, as it just caught my eye. We need to learn to speak and write with eloquence and clarity and be capable of engaging in the civic life of our communities and persuade others to be virtuous and to commit prudent actions. This is to be accompanied through the study of humanities, grammar, rhetoric, history, poetry, philosophy. It's a pervasive cultural mode and the paradigm not of a small elite, but it's our heritage if we choose to embrace it. You want to have a better country? Then put better people in that country. For moderate Christians, and I hope we don't have any of those here, but you can follow. I hope we have a lot of them here, actually. You can follow the mindset. For people that believe in the X-Gen way, that means a return to the scriptures. But then you find out, once you start thinking, okay, and this is usually the way it works. I'm going to stop believing in religion. And I know because I went through this. I'm going to stop believing in religion and I'm just going to read the Bible. Okay, I'm just reading the Bible. You know what? I'm just going to read the New Testament. You know what? I'm just going to read the red letters, the letters of Jesus, Jebus. And then you start saying, but wait a minute. I thought when I stopped following religion, I'd find true. When I just started reading the Bible, I'd find true. I thought when I just started reading the New Testament, I'd find true. I thought when I just started reading the red letters, I'd find true. Now I'm reading the red letters and I'm still seeing bullshit. Then you realize, oh, it's a script. And then you're sure of it. And then you say, oh, I got to look deeper than this. Then you realize, oh, this Bible was written to enslave me into the fear and guilt, blood magic control matrix. But look, every now and then there's a nugget I can use to free myself. All those sneaky bitches. They wrote a book to enslave me, but every now and then they gave me a key to set myself free. But it's so deeply encoded and so covered and baked with shit that I got to really know what I'm doing to get in there and find it and dig it out. I need some help. Let me go to the Christian Whistleblower channel and learn some skills that'll help me pay my spiritual bills. You determine to find the essence of spirituality, to be that you're divine, you're sovereign, and you're free. Enlightenment teaches you to curtail the political power of religion and prevent intolerance and war, and to embrace a good spirituality based on instinctive morals and belief in divinity, and not theoretically use force to maintain its order in believers. It's really simple. We just got off track. This was a genuine truther movement. The one we have now is fake as shit. Philosophers and scientists of the period widely circulated their ideas through meetings at scientific academies, Masonic lodges. Now, they weren't Masons, but you can rent a Masonic lodge and have a meeting in it. Don't get excited. Literary salons, coffee houses. Why aren't we doing that? Why don't more of you have YouTube channels? And is this one of the reasons why they're bringing up this Zika right now? But the good news is this Zika dies at 80 degrees, so it'll be over sooner rather than later. But anyway, why don't more of you have YouTube channels? Why aren't more of you meeting with meetups at Starbeezy or some other place to sit and discuss this stuff? Why aren't more of you printing flyers, journals, pamphlets, handing them out? Because the ideas of the Enlightenment undermined the authority of the monarchy and the authority of the church and paved the way for the political revolutions of the 18th and 19th centuries. Do you realize that the greatest, most powerful nation on earth, the British Empire, crumbled because of people on YouTube channels and on blogs and on meetups and handing out flyers and talking to people at Starbucks and talking to people in line at Target? It fell because of that. You don't understand the power that we have. That's where the statement, the pen is mightier than the sword, comes from. Pen doesn't work nearly as fast as the sword. And in some ways, it's not quite as satisfying. Sometimes that nice sloppy schluck and the thud, you just can't replace good times like that. But this is the way we win, through the power of the pen. The Enlightenment included ideas about sovereignty. Where have you heard that before? Ideas about evidence of the senses as primary sources of knowledge. I know they told us we went to the moon, but for the love of baby Titus, can you prove it? I know they tell us we're going around and around, but what does the evidence of the senses as primary sources of knowledge tell you? What do you think and believe about liberty, progress, toleration, fraternity, which is brotherhood, sisterhood, government, separation of church and state? Wow. And it all boils down to embracing of individual liberty, embracing of individual spirituality, in opposition to dogmas of the Roman Catholic Church, the Roman Protestant Church, or any other church. Could you imagine if we all dressed up in our knee socks and our patent leather loafers and our long coats and our powdered wigs and went down at Starbucks and sat around and discussed this? I'd be willing to do that shit if some of you would. That's all I'm saying. Oh, would that be fun or what? We'd get that shit on the local media. Oh, that'd be just a blast. You get my point. You get my point. And now we're going to turn the corner and end with this. I know you'd rather be talking about whether the ETs are going to deliver you. I know you'd rather be talking about spells and sigils. I know you'd rather be talking about Planet X, or you'd rather be talking about how many people have not died. But now we're talking about shit that really matters. Deism, folks. Deism. Deism. Sahih Luke. I caught this. Jeff, your book on Paul has encouraged many Muslims to attack him. Good. I hope every Muslim attacks that rat bastard. And tomorrow I'll be debating the topic of your book. Are you for me or against me? Yeah, please send me the link to tune in. That's exciting. And what's really exciting, Sahih Luke, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I salute you for having the testicular fortitude to engage yourself in a debate, because none of these people, from the forgettable to the famous, have the balls to debate me. Sahih Luke, he's talking about the modified Lincoln Douglas. I felt a little movement down below when he said Lincoln Douglas debate. I did. I felt a little surge of blood. Must have been the rocket. We need men like that. We need men that'll debate, men that will discuss, men that will say, I believe A, nay, I believe B, and then go back and forth. That's what we need. But from the famous, the Begleys, the Marzulis, they're too afraid. All the way down to the beanies and the crazies. They won't debate either because they're afraid. The philosophical position of deism rejects revelation, which means Bibles and gurus. I got this message while I was wherever, and I'm delivering it to you. That's called revelation. That makes him or her the queen and you the bitch. I got this message. Let me deliver it unto you. Get that cunt out of my face. We've got a Bible. It has all the truth. Listen, you bitches. Get that cunt out of my face. It kind of hurts your throat to do that, especially repeatedly. Somebody somewhere saying that's what she said. Anyway, the philosophical position that rejects revelation as a source of spiritual knowledge, and yeah, I'm substituting words, and asserts that reason and observation of the natural world are sufficient to establish the existence of a supreme being. We don't need their revelation. You don't need their revelation. Some of you are still wanting people's revelation because you're too lazy to find your own. And you don't trust yourself. The study of truths revealed by reason. Oh, you mean I should come up with my own idea instead of tuning in to find out what somebody else thinks? Yeah. It's called natural theology. During the Age of Enlightenment, philosophers began to reject revelation. We don't want your Bibles. We don't want your channeling. We don't want your Pleiadians. We don't want none of that bullshit. We want to sit down and think and focus and meditate and employ our own divinity. as a search of knowledge and appeal to truths that can be established by reason alone. Such philosophers were called deists, and their position's called deism. I think it's called bomb-diggityism. And here's the problem. It was sweeping the world, and along comes the Christian revivalist movements, the blood of Jeebus. Methodism. Methodism then ain't what Methodism is now. Methodism then, speaking in tongues, Honda, Honda, Kawasaki, Kawasaki, Toyota. That was Methodism then, bro. Holy rollers, that was the Methodists. Laying hands on the sick, head, sweat, boom, that was the Methodists. That's where we learned it from. And all of a sudden, when somebody can bat their eyes at you and somebody can give you little platitudes and make you move, make you a little damp, all of a sudden you think, oh, they've got the truth. Oh, so true. Makes me feel so good. No. Rationale. These things have pushed deism into distant memory, but we're resurrecting it, cousins. These are the times that try men's souls. These are the times that try women's souls. Somehow we reckon we'd win without a fight, prevail without a struggle, and overcome without hard work. Yeah, I wrote that. And no, we won't. No, we won't. We will win, but it's going to be a fight. We will prevail, but it's going to be a struggle. And we will overcome, but it's going to take some hard work. That was some really good stuff. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. That was some really, really good stuff. And I'm the Christian whistleblower. And he's Plastic Jesus. And we are going to the chat room, which should be a lot of fun today. Should be a lot of fun today. Give me some cheddar, says Jasper. You might need a mindset change. Ain't no might on that. You need a mindset change. You need a mindset change. Amelia, I know who you are. 313, happy birthday, Tracy. I don't understand the 313, happy birthday, Tracy. Thank you, Jeff, for many years of incredible shows. I remember who you are. Nice to see you back. Happy birthday to you. Let's give her a whole song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amelia. Happy birthday to you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's see. Economic migration destroys the wage. No. Come on, man. Happy birthday, Amelia. Happy birthday, Amelia. Shine your light. Absolutely. Yep. I got to have my phone so I can watch Jeff. Can you watch Jeff on an Obama phone? I'm just joking. Crystal says it's already changing. So glad to hear it. Have a mindset of abundance instead of one of lack. That's a good start. Keep up the good work. Absolutely. Keep up the good work. Let's see. Life gives you tools so you can unindoctrinate yourself. Oh, Jeff gives you tools. Yeah, I'll go with that. Boom. Thank you so much. A lot of schools are shut down. And you know what? What's going to be really funny is when they shut down the schools and people find out they don't need them. They shut down the NBA and people find out they didn't miss it. They shut down Major League Baseball. People found out they didn't miss it. They shut down even the NHL and people didn't miss it. Isn't that amazing? Next thing you know, they'll be given wars and nobody will come. Amazing. Jeebus paid for it. Yeah. Jeebus said spring break for everybody. Oh, boy. Going from employee to self-employed, especially working from home, takes so much patience. But that's how I did it, Chase. It's interesting you bring that up. I went from working for somebody to working at my home. I worked for Hertz from home. I sold medical devices from home. And I worked my ass off. And then at the same time I was building this channel, I got to where, You'll get to this magic point. If you work hard for 6 or 7 years, you can be an overnight success. What's happening April 15th? Lord Bauman Bunchboy doesn't pay his taxes very often, evidently. Not that that's a bad thing, but hey, you know how it is. Let's see. Benjamin Franklin said that, not the Bible. He did, but it could have been, if the Bible was real, it would have been in there. No more victims. Absolutely. The painful thing about being self-employed is having to stroke a big check to Fed and state every quarter. It's less painful than, to me, it's less painful than them taking money out and using it the whole year. Do you realize, and I know a lot of you realize this, but a lot of you don't realize this. When you get your money back at the end of the year, that's not a good thing. That means that all that money you get back at the end of the year, the government's been using it the whole year. What if anybody, pick a person, says, I'm going to take like 30% of your shit every check, and I'm going to have a good time all year long with it. And then after the year is over, I'll give you about 10% of it back. You'd be like, bitch, please. But you're just loving them doing it to you. So what do, Jeff? Put 10 dependents down, and they won't take shit from you. And you get to use all of yours all year long. Now, you might have to give them a little bit at the end, but I'd rather give them a little bit at the end than let them use my shit all year long. Get that cone out of my face, bitches. Anyway, nobody smokes crack anymore, says Jama. Okay. I think I said something about smoking coke. I guess that would be smoking crack. My bad. Luann says amen. We don't say that anymore, but I get it. Guard your thoughts and the words you speak. Absolutely. Lots of gods and goddesses give you money. That's for sure. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Karen. So gods do help me and goddesses do help me. I stand corrected. Thank you, Karen. You are exactly right. Our higher selves are the divinity anyway. Yes, that's exactly right. Long time watching, Jeff. Happen to catch you live. My husband and I love Jeff. Thank you to everyone for the happy birthday. Amelia, we love you and your husband too. And happy birthday to you once again. So goodbye here. Let me just go ahead and take care of that. Boop. That was fun. All right, let's see. All those New Age religions need a guru spiritual leader to guide the flock. They do, and most of them are creepy. But why are they so successful, Flat Albert? Why are they so successful? I say to Cynthia, I couldn't make people do that. If I said that, people wouldn't even listen anymore. But it works for them, and sometimes I get a little cross. Here's a special kind of stupid right here. I don't want Mystech because the Earth's resonance is increasing, and I want to be in line with the higher vibration, not the old lower one. Okay, dumbass. Let me share with you how this works. You think you can come in and take a whack at what I use to feed my babies? Okay, idiot. What is your, and I told Cynthia I wouldn't do this anymore, and I should do it can we rewind? Oh, really? Is that how you feel, Sunray? What's your base temperature of your body? About 98.4 or so? Okay, good. Do you like being at 98.4? You like that? Okay, good. Well, you know what? You shouldn't be at 98.4 anymore. What you really want to do is you want to be at 108.7. Because 108.7, that's increased. And you don't want to be with the old 98.4. You want the 108.6. You know what happened? You'd be dead in a week, dummy. I think I made my point. Oh, my. Sometimes. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got here? Now I'm gonna try to see. I'm gonna try to make it more fun and less like that. You know what? I dislike sales. Life is full of choices. Josh was 10 or so. I was 30, let's say. And don't quote me because I don't know if I was really 30. I was 30. And I'm working for somebody. And I realized one day, I realized that I was never going to make any money. My granddaddy said to me, Jeff, you'll never make any money working for somebody else. And I started realizing how much I was working, but I was building somebody else's dream. And I hated to sell. Never sold before, but I found out that people that sell can make a lot of money. So I went and did something, and I wasn't stupid. I took a part-time job selling at night for the police and the firefighters. Hi, this is Jeff from your Pinellas County firefighters. You want to help your firefighters out with a donation this year? We'll throw in a Miami Dolphins versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers softball ticket. I didn't like sales either, but I like money. I like sovereignty. I like divinity. I like freedom. Fast forward, I probably made from 30 to 50, probably like $5 million, maybe more. Got to where I kind of liked sales. You don't have to like them, but you can change your life or you can't. It's up to you. Up to you. Up to you. Just so you go. Just so you know. Just a little personal thing. I didn't like it either till I started going like this. Then I liked it. It gets up in your blood. Show up like a bunch of scholars and philosophers. That would be a lot of fun. That really would. And I think we would make the freedom gatherings. I like that too. I like that so much. That's really, really good stuff. Let's see. It takes years and years to recover from indoctrination. It does, but there's got to be a quicker way to do it. People have lost the ability to discuss their differences and opposing opinions. Yeah, they really have. Let's see. Still have to agree to disagree. Difficult realities differ for everyone. Never wanted to help, but needed it. All the best to you, Crystal. We love you. Keep on keeping on. Let's see. Rev of 144 March, whatever the hell that means. 144,000 original. Come on, man. I've always been on a raw diet since my birth. Interesting. Methodists were the original Pentecostals. Let's see what else we got here. It's mental shop. Boom, boom, boom. I do too, Tracy. What do you do too? Oh, well, I'll find out later. Nancy, you got to go occasionally, but you need a good Jeff rant. Every now and then, I guess you do. All right. We'll show that one. 7-Eleven was a part-time job. Well, that's back in the day. So, folks, there you go. If you go back and listen to this from the beginning to the end, it'll change your life. It's powerful stuff. And I am here to encourage you. I am here to rah-rah you. But if I can shame you and make a change in your life, I am willing to do it. Jimmy Swaggart once said to me, Jeffrey, use everything short of gross stupidity if it helps you get somebody to listen to you. And then he said, and on second thought, you could even use gross stupidity too. And he's right. We're here to get you. All I'm looking for is 3, 4, 5 seconds of actual mental clarity between your ears. If I can produce that, my work here is done and the rest is up to you. These are the times that try men's souls. These are the times that try our souls. These are the times for us to become unindoctrinated. We are in the unindoctrination business. And cousins, that business is a booming. We're the last generation of real humans. And we are here not because the world is bad and getting worse, but because it's good and getting better. And we're here to make damn sure that it does and to be a shining example of how to get it done. I salute you for being here, seeking after truth. For Tracy Dyer and all our other great moderators, for the lovely Cynthia, I remain Jeffrey Daugherty, your humble, well, most of the time, Christian whistleblower. Let's get busy unindoctrinating ourselves. See you again real soon.